Hi, everybody, and a very good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us today for a webinar I know you'll find interesting. My name is Sandy Elson, and on behalf of the travel professional community and travelprofessionalnews.com, I want to welcome all of you and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us today. We are really happy to welcome as our host today, Gifted Travel Network. Our speaker is Lisa Fletcher, Director of Education and Training for Gifted Travel Network. Lisa mentors new to the industry travel agents on how to establish a solid foundation and put the best systems in place to ensure sustainable growth and profitability. Lisa started her travel career as a member of the marketing team for American Express Hawaii Vacations in 1984, holding jobs in both leisure and corporate travel and brick-and-mortar agencies over the years, and owning her own successful home-based travel company. Lisa's passion for teaching, coaching, and mentoring motivated her to join the Gifted Travel Network team as a mentor for the travel MBA training programs. Lisa's topic today is 7 surprising things you should look for in a host agency beyond commissions and consortia. Before we get started, please remember that you are all muted, but we welcome your questions. You can type in your questions at any time in the right-hand panel of your screen in the question area that you see there. At the end of Lisa's presentation, we'll get to as many questions as we can. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Lisa so she can get started. Welcome, Lisa.
Hi, thank you so much, Sandy. I appreciate the opportunity. I always love speaking to agents about our host agency, which I'm very passionate about, but in addition to that, just about host agencies in general. This is a great topic because I think there are a lot of things to consider. As part of my job with GTN, I handle a lot of the prospect calls where people call into the agency or come in through the website and request appointments, to talk about the possibility of hosting with us. So I talk to 20 people a week at least who are looking for host agencies. And it's really interesting to, hear what they're asking and realize what they're not asking. And so we put together this presentation and hopefully it'll give a little bit of insight for anyone who is either in the market for a new host or also, just wanting to stay on top of the host agency environment and what's going on these days. So to me, when you're looking for a host agency, the number one thing that you should be looking at in general is, are they going to help you become profitable? Look at the suppliers, look at the consortia they belong to, whether they're Virtuoso, Signature, Ensemble, Travel Savers, Affluent Traveler Collection, whoever, and make sure that financially it's a good fit for you. But then there are so many other things to consider other than those basics, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I think the number one of 7 things that we're going to touch on is, do they encourage you to build and market your own brand? That's a very good question to ask. You want to make sure that they're not too interested in just getting their own name out there. Do they require you to use their logo and name and branding on all of your marketing materials? Of course, over and beyond what is required by seller of travel laws and for compliance with seller of travel. Some hosts encourage you to promote your own brand and don't really want to be consumer facing. Other hosts really like to be wide out there, as do consortias. So, you want to make sure that what you're promoting to your clients and your prospects is not your host agency and not your affiliation with a consortia, but your own message, branding, and marketing. And then do they encourage you or require you even to use their private labeled websites for your clients? Again, it can make, if it's one of those standard websites that you just upload your logo to and it's the same website that the other 2,000 or 3,000 people who are hosted with that host have on the internet, first of all, it's not speaking to your branding and to your message for your business and to your own marketing purposes. And actually, it does very little to make you stand out as something different than just another online booking engine. And as we all know, we're trying hard in this industry to establish ourselves as experts and travel advisors, and to reclaim our value in the travel booking process. And when you have a client-facing, generic website that has a hotel booking engine on the front of it, it really does little to identify you as being anything special. They're not going to realize why they should use you instead of booking something on Expedia or Travelocity. Number two, are they easy to contact, and are they responsive to your questions? So here's a question that you need to ask when you're researching or speaking with and interviewing host agencies that you're considering working with. You want to know how easy it is to actually speak with a person when you have a question. Sometimes it's easy and the people are very responsive. Sometimes you have to go through a whole rigmarole of, pushing this number, pushing that number, doing this, that, and the other, and then they assign your call a case number, and you get an email saying somebody will be back with you shortly, this is your case number, and it becomes quite a process. So you want to make sure that if you do need assistance, or you need help, or you need training, that you're going to be able to reach a real human being who will be able to assist you. And if you do have to leave a phone message or voicemail or send an email, that somebody will be responsive to you. You also want to make sure that if you run into an issue with any supplier that you're struggling to solve on your own, if you have a problem when a client is traveling, if you're not getting a response and you've had problems in the reservations process, whatever, is your host agency going to be willing to use their connections to escalate that problem on your behalf? It's another very good question to ask. You want to make sure that the connections to the preferred suppliers through the host agency as well as through the consortium, if you're tied to one, is deep enough and personal enough that they will be able to reach out, get somebody on the phone or by email, or get someone who can step in and intervene in your behalf and make the problem go away. So that's a very good question as well. Number three, are they concerned with increasing your profitability and not just theirs? This is a very big issue. You want to make sure that your host agency really does care, that they want to be there to help you increase your profitability. So here are ways that they can do that. So do they offer options for increasing your profitability by adding independent contractors or sub-agents? Some host agencies have sub-agent programs, some don't. So if you do think that it's in your business plan for the future to be able to bring on more independent contractors under your brand, or to help you out as you grow, you want to make sure that you're affiliating with a host that does have that in place and that can guide you and educate you on the right way to bring on and add those independent contractors for your maximum profitability. Very important. Do they offer up to 100% commission split or payout? This is a very big deal. It can make a huge difference in your profitability. You get hosts out there that offer anything from a 30% payout for leads all the way up to, more commonly 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, possibly a 90-10. There are a few out there, a handful that will offer a 100% commission payout with a larger monthly fee. And certainly when you get up to the point of having the sales where that does make sense, it can be a huge savings for you and make a big difference in your bottom line. And then you want to make sure that you're able to choose your commission level based on what is going to make your business the most profitable. So you don't, some hosts will have, when you sell from 0 to, I'm just making these numbers up, but 0 to $200,000 a year, we pay you 70-30. Once you get up to 250, we'll start paying you 80-20. When you get, they set the thresholds for sales that determine when you are able to increase your profitability. Instead of giving you, the entrepreneur and the business owner, the power to decide for yourself when it makes the most sense. So you want to make sure that that is in your control and that you're not going to be kept at a certain, lower commission split just because the host agency says that you have to be at a certain financial amount. What you need is someone that will help you run your numbers and see if it does make financial sense for you to bump up to the next category. And just to kind of prove that point, I've got this chart that I always like to share with people. This chart came out of another one of our webinars. So just to give you a little background why we mentioned 2016 sandals bookings, it was just another webinar that we did where we were analyzing certain things. So this has nothing to do with sandals, but it's just a really good chart just to make our point. So as you can see, the first section there is somebody who is hosted currently on a 75-25 split. And the second column is for if that exact same agent were to be hosted by a prospect host who is actually offering a 90-10 split. So it kind of will give you an idea of how much difference it can make. So, basically, again, we have it split out sandals bookings for another reason, but 8,000 in sandals bookings with their current host, the current host will keep 2,000 of that. The prospect host would only keep 800. Their gross commission earned on all their other bookings that year, 55,000, is the same for both. All other commission kept by host, if you notice, the 75-25 host would have kept $13,750, while the prospect host at 90-10 would have kept $5,500. So let's say the current host, the 75-25, has a low annual fee of $250, and they don't charge for using client base or certain marketing programs or any other thing, and there's no fee for the 75-25. So basically you've got $250 in annual fees. So you're thinking, well, but I love this host because it only cost me $250 a year. Okay, we'll go to the next column. So let's say the annual fee for the prospect host is $350. Let's say it's $100 more. Let's say they charge $600 a year for, I know most hosts don't charge for client base, but for, any other extras, marketing tools, websites, whatever, other fees can add up. And then let's say that it's $50 a month to get 90% commission. So that works out to another $600 that it costs you for the year. So even though those last three numbers, the annual fees and for all of the services, adds up to a good bit more than the annual fees for that current host, look at the difference. If you add up all the numbers, running those numbers with a 75-25 current host with the $250 annual fee, the total cost to you or to the agent is $16,000. That's how much that host agency is going to make off of them in a year. With the prospect host, the total host agency expense drops to $8,150. So that's, well, it's not $8,150 savings, but it's about, right under $8,000. So you're basically going to be pocketing almost $8,000 more a year, and in your own accounts versus your host agency. So I don't know about you, but I could do a lot in my business with $8,000 or $7,900 extra a year. So you just have to know how to run those numbers and make sure that you're not being scared off by a higher annual fee or a higher monthly fee when the amount of percentage of your commission is going to add up that much. So I think all of us would probably really like making an extra, 7 or 8, or as your numbers grow and you get up in the higher numbers. I mean, we've seen people who have gone to 100% with us and paying the flat monthly fee. And I mean, they have literally pocketed $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 more a year in commission than they would have if they had stayed with their former hosts. So number 4, you want to know if the host agency has a very positive and engaged culture. This is something that's not really easy to quantify, so it's something you have to get a feel for. Is the host Facebook forum a place for complaining, whining, and griping? Or is it a supportive community where agents feel safe to share freely? This is hugely important for a lot of agents out there. And I'm not really sure how you will, you can ask the host agency that. A really good way is to ask the person at the host agency that you're interviewing if it's possible to reach out and speak to a few of their agents as references and ask this specific question. Do you have a private Facebook forum? And if so, what is the engagement like in that forum? Because obviously they're not going to add you to the forum until you've joined. But it is something that makes a huge difference. If I hear one more person in this industry complain because they saw their next door neighbor on a cruise and they didn't book it through them, it's like you just want to beat your head against a wall. Nobody needs that kind of negativity, and nobody wants to hear it. So, it's really important that these Facebook forums stay positive, constructive, and helpful, and that everyone feels completely free to ask any question without being demeaned for asking what might be considered a newbie question or a stupid question, and to be able to share information freely because you're not in competition with each other. You are all working together to better the travel industry. You also want to make sure that the management of the host agency engages within the community. Are you only talking to other agents on these Facebook forums? Does the management monitor that? Do they pipe in? Do they stay in touch with all of the agents that are out there in the field that are basically the ones making them their money? Or do they sit in their little office back in the main office and really not know what's going on out there with all of their hundreds or thousands of agents? So you want to make sure that management engages with the community and that there's a very welcoming and positive culture put forth by upper management. And you also just want to know if the attitude of the management and of the agents that are with that host, if it feels right to you. I mean, does it feel nurturing, positive, and inspirational? Does it feel whiny? Does it feel like people are always complaining? Have you been on fam trips with some of the people that are hosted by these other hosts? How do they act? How do they behave? What do they say? It's huge to do as much research as possible to make sure that you're aligning yourself with people that you feel very comfortable with and that you trust. So number 5, do they offer training to help you grow your business? That may sound like a question that is easily answered, that every host agency does that. But are the training opportunities mostly supplier-based and product-focused? Are they mainly just shoving out supplier-provided marketing tools to you? Are they, really digging in and just spreading product only? Or do they spend time and resources actually helping you grow your prospect list and inspire relationship building with your existing clients? Are they helping you, constantly have those new people coming into your sales funnel, all of the prospects, are they engaged, knowing your business well enough that they can suggest things for you to go out and do, certain local festivals or trade shows, or are there things that you could attend with the sole purpose of gathering more emails and adding more people to your list? Because, if your sales funnel, if your income of prospects ever dries up, and, even if you do get a lot of referrals from your existing clients, which of course is wonderful, you've got to keep that new blood coming in, or eventually your sales funnel is going to go stale. So you want to make sure that they have the marketing chops to really dig in and help you with your business development and your marketing development, and not just pushing supplier-based promotions and incentives out to you. Number 6, are they flexible in adapting to your unique needs? Every one of you out there is an entrepreneur. Sometimes you're a solo entrepreneur. You're out there working by yourself. Other people working, even though they're the entrepreneur, maybe they've already grown to the point that they've got, several sub-agents or ICs or employees, that work under them. But when you do go with a new host, or when you're looking for a host, you want to ask them how flexible they are in adapting to your needs, or is it basically a business in a box when they hand you a collection of tools and say, this is how you access our Facebook forum, this is how you access your online portal, here's the login to, your booking engine, here's how you report your bookings to accounting, go, be gone with you and have fun, go forth and prosper. And so, do they just give you their procedures and policies, or do they really listen to your business's specific needs and get familiar with your business plan and the vision that you have for the future, and work with you to do everything necessary to make it more effortless for you to reach your goals? It's really important that, and this is really important when you're looking at the hosts that have, 3,000 and 4,000 people out there. Unfortunately, just the way things go in this industry, you can bet that out of that 3,000 or 4,000 people, that there's a much smaller number who are actually productive and, living off their income and, reaching their business goals. We all know that the vast majority of those people are probably what our president likes to call accidental hobbyists. Maybe they didn't start out that way, but they've kind of fallen into the hobbyist role. And, making enough money maybe in a year to where they can afford to take their own vacation or whatever. And so you want to make sure that your host agency is capable of adapting to your own unique needs. One way is, are you penalized for booking non-preferred suppliers, even if you feel that it is what you need to do to be servicing your clients correctly? If there's a reason that you need to go rogue or go off track and reach out to a supplier that is not considered preferred with that host, it's possible sometimes that you can have your commission docked, or that you can, go through other penalties or whatever, to where you're suffering and your bottom line is suffering because they're not technically a preferred supplier partner with the host agency. Obviously, we all want to encourage our agents to use preferred supplier partners, not only because of wanting to make sure that our numbers are up there for them and it helps when it comes time to negotiate the contracts for next year, but also because we want to make sure that you're getting the highest commissions possible. But of course, there are occasions and situations when you're going to need to go a little rogue and go out and find a supplier or use a supplier that is not considered to be preferred, and you want to be sure that it's as easy as possible to get your host to make that happen for you. And are they willing to help craft custom solutions for streamlining your workflow, like if you have a group, or helping you with your general office procedures? Sometimes people that don't book a lot of groups, they get a group and they're like, buried in paperwork and spreadsheets, and taking a gajillion phone calls every day, trying to figure out how to get things organized. And, it's possible that if they went to somebody at their host agency, they could help them, kind of create a workflow or, some kind of a general office workflow where, maybe you could build a special landing page for that group and have the members of the group log on to the landing page and put in all of their information so that then it pre-populates it onto a spreadsheet for you, and then you reach out. There's just so many ways of making these processes so much more streamlined and simple. And is there somebody there at your host agency that is available to you to assist when you have something going on or you're struggling with a workflow or general office procedure that you can reach and that will understand your business well enough to be able to sit down and help you craft something that's going to make your life easier? Finally, number 7, are they proactive rather than only reactive in supporting you? So I think this is really important. Is there a consistent sharing of new ideas and innovative strategies to keep you one step ahead in your marketing? This industry changes quickly, and the only thing that stays the same in this industry is the fact that it's going to be changing. One day to the next, 1 week to the next, 1 month to the next. And is there consistent sharing of new ideas and strategies and, information that you don't even know you need yet, but that you are going to need so that you don't have that lag time between, finding out 6 months later that maybe, you could have been doing something a little bit different. And, do they have research teams that are staying on top of the trends and the new suppliers and the new availability of opportunities out there for us? And it's really important to have someone that is constantly out there keeping on top of those things and then sharing them with you as soon as possible. And most importantly to me, do they create an inspired environment that encourages thinking out of the box and new ways of approaching selling travel? You need to stay inspired. So just summarizing the 7 things real quick, you should look for: they should encourage you to build and market your own brand. They should be easy to contact and responsive to your questions. They should be concerned with increasing your profitability and not only their own. Do they have a positive and engaged community? Do they offer training to help you grow your business? Are they flexible and adapting to your needs? And are they proactive rather than reactive in supporting you? So what do you think? Does your host meet your needs for all 7 of these questions? As you were reading those, were you saying yes, 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 yes? I don't know if that was 7, but 7 yeses. So if your answer is no, I am here today to encourage you to maybe check us out, to check out Gifted Travel Network. So we are relatively new. We've been around now for about 4 years, but we're growing very steadily. And here are some things that we offer to our independent contractors. So we do offer the ability to put your brand at the forefront of your marketing. We do have a very responsive support staff. There have been occasions where someone will be on hold with a supplier and realize that they don't have a login yet for that supplier, and they have emailed and contacted our client care manager, who has gone online and gotten them set up and emailed them their login information before they've gotten off hold. So by the time the supplier answers, they have the information that they need. We do offer plans that go all the way up to a 100% commission split, and it's completely up to you to choose the commission split that works best for your business. And we will help you run the numbers if you're not sure, what makes the most sense for you. We do have the most positive and supportive community in the industry. I feel 110% confident in saying that. We do have monthly business development and marketing training. In fact, as soon as I'm done in the conference room here today delivering this webinar, our CEO, Vanessa McGovern, is moving in, and she's got the monthly business development call coming up next, where agents have a chance to call in and raise their hand online and ask for help with certain marketing opportunities and things that they're wondering, if they might be a good step for them or not, and for advice with things they're doing. We do offer custom solutions for your business. We all come from a background of business coaching and not just travel agenting, if that makes sense. So even though we do have a lot of experience in the travel industry, we are all business coaches as well. So we're very strong on branding, marketing, client attraction, and business development. And we consistently share new strategies and ideas through our network and so much more. So I do encourage you to check us out at giftedtravelnetwork.com. At the bottom of the website, there's a link that you can click on to go in and complete a very, very short survey and schedule a phone call with one of our management team at your convenience. It puts you right into an online scheduler. And one of us here would be honored to give you a call back and at the time that you schedule and to discuss your needs confidentially and, kind of look at your business and help you decide if we would be a good fit for you. So that is it. So Sandy, I think I moved faster this time, so hopefully we have a little time for questions.
We do have time for questions, and thank you so much. That was really valuable information.
Good, you're welcome.
We have several questions. We have one person who seems very interested in contacting you, who has a few questions that could be of general interest. When a member of Gifted Travel Network receives documents, do they have the Gifted information and logo on it, or can she have her own information and logo?
You mean receiving documents from suppliers?
Yes.
Or it can work out both ways. It kind of depends on the supplier. It's not something that we would not put our logo on anything that's yours. It just kind of depends on how the supplier issues documents. So a lot of the suppliers will allow the independent contractor to have their logo. I think it's called white labeling. Some of the suppliers will not. Okay. But, you can always take those documents and, upload things into a itinerary builder like Travify or whatever so that you can come out with some custom documents for your clients as well.
Okay, excellent. Can Gifted be reached after hours or on weekends?
We definitely can be. We don't have 24/7 support. Our consortium does offer a program. There is a fee for that for 24/7, but we all kind of do monitor emails. Certainly if there's a crisis going on, like the floods in Houston that we just had we're in the middle of still, or a big travel crisis where, it kind of does become all hands on deck, where sometimes we do need to make ourselves more available. So, we're available and reachable most times, but it's not typically 24/7 backup at this point, although we do have a program that makes that available to you.
Okay, excellent. How often do you send out commissions to the agents?
Commissions are paid every 2 weeks, and it's typically, the reports are run on the 1st and the 15th of every month. So we typically pay by, ACH, direct deposit into the independent contractors accounts. And so, the ones that are issued on the 1st typically, depending on the day of the week, will arrive around the 3rd or 4th. And then the same with the 15th, you'll get paid typically around the 17th or 18th.
Okay, great. Speaking of commissions, can you give us a quick thumbnail sketch of the commission structures that are available with Gifted?
Absolutely. So just for typical hosting, if you just join as an independent contractor, there is a flat annual fee of $249 a year, which covers, just all of the typical, the client base, all that kind of stuff. So everyone pays the $249 a year, and then you have the option of 3 different commission splits. If you have the option of a 70-30 split, and there's no additional monthly fee for that. You can opt for an 80-20, in which there's $34.99 per month in addition to the $249 a year. And then we offer the 100% commission, not really split, but commission payout that is the $249 a year, and then it's $349 per month. And that does sound like a lot per month, but I'll tell you, what we found is when your commissionable sales, annual sales, are about $350,000 to $400,000 in commissionable sales, it starts to make perfect sense to make the jump to that 100% commission. And as you grow from there to, $450,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $1 million and above, I mean, you are pocketing a ton of money, and that $349 a month doesn't look so big anymore. Mm-hmm. So obviously at the beginning, if you're new and you're just starting out and your sales are low, we would not encourage anyone to sign up for that 100%. At that point, but we will, we do help you run the numbers and see when it makes the most sense.
Okay, and just to touch on something you just mentioned, is Gifted appropriate for both new and experienced agents?
It is. We actually have an incredible new agent training program, which is called the Travel MBA, which stands for Marketing and Business Academy. Obviously, it's not a traditional MBA program. But it's a 12-month program that combines online modules with a mentor for the full 12 months. So basically, you're getting a personal business coach for your first 12 months of business. You have access to the mentor. You have access to a lot of additional training webinars and coaching calls and that kind of thing, even over and above what we have for our regular independent contractors. That is how we prefer for people who are brand new to the to the industry, who have no experience. That is how we like people to come in to Gifted Travel Network, is through the Travel MBA program. We have also had people join Travel MBA who maybe have had their business for a year or, a year and a half or possibly 2 years, but never really gotten it off the ground, and kind of start fresh, because the Travel MBA program does start with, the very basics of business coaching. Do you want a sole proprietorship or an LLC or an S Corp? How should you basically, form your business? And then, to make sure that you're setting a good business plan in place, and helping you identify your message for your business so that you can then, rein in who your target market is and get a really good idea for your ideal client, so that all of your branding, your name, your colors, your logo, your marketing, your newsletters, everything, your business cards, everything that you put out there is congruent with your message, and then your marketing client attraction strategies can be focused so much more. So we do teach people how to actually sell travel, but most importantly, I think in the Travel MBA, it's really strong business coaching, marketing, client attraction, and helps people get their business up and running from the beginning. So that is a separate program, and does have additional costs, that go along with it. If you want more information on that program, you can go, there's a website that is actually getyourtravelmba.com, and it will have all the details on there of all the inclusions and the cost and the pricing.
Okay, excellent. Do your member independent contractors come under your errors and omissions insurance, or do they still get their own?
Independent contractors are covered under our errors and omissions insurance. We do offer a program for subagents. So if independent contractors of ours want to grow their business by adding independent contractors of their own, those subagents would not be covered under our errors and omissions. So if you ever do get to where you bring on any additional subagents, then you either need to get your own policy that covers subagents or require that they have their own. But direct independent contractors who have an IC agreement with us are covered.
Okay, and what about IATA numbers or CLIA numbers? Do they get their own, or do they use yours?
Oh, no, you can use ours. And actually, we've been smart enough that our IATA, ARC, and CLIA numbers are all the identically same number. Oh. So it makes it really fun.
That's wonderful.
I know. You only have to remember one number.
One number. And what about seller of travel licenses in the states that require them? Do they come under?
We have full seller of travel licenses in all of the states that require them, with the exception of Hawaii, which Hawaii is very different, and they require everyone to have their own seller of travel, even if you are working under a host. There's no host agency exemption for seller of travel in the state of Hawaii. So, but we do have them for the other, all the other states that require seller of travel.
Okay. One more general question, and actually two more questions, and then I think our time will be over. Does Gifted, you mentioned client base or other database customer relation management. What about other kinds of technology? Does Gifted offer consumer websites that our agents can use, or any kind of accounting tools? How does that work?
We do use client base and Tram's back office that works with client base for our accounting, for our back office accounting. That's the way you report bookings, and you can obviously use client base as your CRM, and keep track of your client information and all of your travel history in there. We do not have the standard, upload your logo here websites, which I think I touched on earlier. Why? We do encourage everyone to have their own website because it needs to reflect their own personality, their own brand, their own message. We do have a web designer that we can refer you to that is a specific travel industry website designer that understands the industry and does some beautiful websites. If you do need to build your own, that would be an extra cost, and you don't have to use ours, but we do have that as a service that's available. And we also include in our hosting right now, we include the Travefy Pro subscription so that you will have the ability to use the itinerary builder. And for those of you that have been reading about ASTA, Travefy was awarded the Entrepreneur of the Year award at the ASTA conference just this past week. So they're really an amazing company, and we partnered with them early on, and they do provide all of our ICs with a Travefy Pro subscription. And we also have just recently entered into an agreement with TravelJoy, which is, for those of you who don't know what TravelJoy is, they are kind of a new software company that are developing travel industry specific. It's more of a process, client processing things like, keeping track of your procedures and forms that you need to send out to your clients and that kind of thing. So we do have quite a large discount work with them as well for people that are hosted with GTN. So we are, we try to stay on the cutting edge of technology and bring as much to our people as possible. Yet at the same time, we also like to promote the fact that you are an entrepreneur and a business owner, and we want to make sure that everything that's going out there is in your own voice and in your own branding.
Okay, excellent. We'll take one more question. I want to tell our agents, if you think of a question after this webinar is over, or if you want more information about Gifted Travel Network, the website, which is giftedtravelnetwork.com, is up on your screen right now. You can access them and get in touch with someone that way to discuss it on the phone. So our last question is it necessary to have a host agency that is in your geographical area?
No, I mean, it's not necessary. With the, I think the problem that most people think of when they think of going with a host agency that might be out of their area is, support from the suppliers, getting support from their BDMs or from their sales managers or whatever. I think that's changed a lot over the years, as a lot of the suppliers have come to understand the home-based agent a little bit better, and we're not so much home-based agents are not the exception to the rule anymore. They are the rule. So I believe that a lot of the suppliers now are very aware that there are people all over the country who are going to need support. We've noticed more and more suppliers going to national accounts managers or, that kind of thing, that instead of having, like, we have a lot of, our local, we're in North Carolina, for example. So, we have a lot of our local BDMs who are the ones that come to our annual conference and who come into the office. But we also have a lot of national sales account people who come in, and they always are so helpful at putting our agents, we have agents all around the country, and they put them in touch with the correct person that's going to be able to help them. So I think that it isn't that big a deal anymore as much as it used to be. There may be, a couple of occasions when you have trouble reaching out and don't feel like you have the relationship. But, in this business, just like in life, but especially I think in the travel business, relationships are everything. So we really encourage our independent contractors, whether they are located in North Carolina or in California, to reach out and develop a relationship with our BDMs. And, it's amazing. We've had BDMs that have flown, way out of the territory, to go and assist people when they're doing like a river cruise night or something like that. And if they can't make it, they will contact their cohort that is in the area where the person is needing help. So it really isn't a huge deal anymore. And definitely there may be a little bit of room to still improve, but I think we're definitely on the right track.
That's great to know. It has been the concern over the last many years that having a host out of your area means you don't get any support from BDMs who are in your area. But you make a good point that
it's changing a lot.
Yeah, it's changing, and it's also up to the independent contractor to make those to reach out to the BDM,
it is,
and form that relationship. So you're right about that. That does it for the questions, and I think we're just about out of time. Our host today has been Gifted Travel Network, and our speaker has been Lisa Fletcher, Director of Education and Training. Lisa, thank you so much. That was fabulous information.
Oh, you're so welcome, Sandy. Thanks so much for giving us the opportunity.
You are welcome, and I want to thank our agents again for joining us today and taking time out of your day to be here. I think you really got a lot out of this webinar. So thanks for being here, and enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.